Hello everyone and welcome back to Aussie Starcraft, where we've been casting games from Dreamhack Winter that concluded just a few short days ago. We are currently casting a best of 3 series between our red Terran player in the bottom left hand corner, Liquid Taeja, and our blue Protoss player Liquid here in the top right hand corner. So Taeja versus Hero. It is obviously going to be an epic series. Game 1 very aggressive from the get-go. I obviously spoiling the results a bit a bit of fait accompli with the Dreamhack overlay. Taeja did win that map by a narrow margin, and it was aggressive from start to finish. So if you haven't seen that game as of yet, pick it up. It is on the channel. We will be uploading all 3 games from this best of 3 series. So sit back, relax, and grab some Starcraft on your Christmas holidays. So I don't know about you guys. I am now on Christmas holidays, finished up on Friday. So looking forward to producing a lot of awesome Starcraft 2 content for you. So just a few things about the channel while we get underway. Obviously both these players not going for anything particularly strange or unusual. Looks like Taeja is going to be walling in with his first barracks. It may well drop a command center to finish this wall off, or may go for something, or may go for a bit more conservative opening based on how aggressive Hero was at the start of last game. We will see. While we wait for the game to get underway, just some channel things. We'll be casting a lot of games from Dreamhack Winter. There's just been some phenomenal games. One of my favourite things about this tournament and the matchups in it is they just seem so very balanced. A majority of the games seem to have gone to a 3-game series, so players obviously very evenly matched and continuing to evolve their strategies from game to game as they verse these opponents. So we'll be casting some whole series and some decider games, as well as any other games that we catch and think are particularly excellent. We'll cast and upload to the channel. Christmas holidays wise, I know lots of people go away for the holidays. I will also be going away. I'll do my best to continue to upload videos that we've cast over that time, but not always possible as I will be in a tent without a computer. But we'll do my best to get keep the uploads flowing and keep plenty of quality Starcraft 2 content available for you to enjoy during your own holidays. So give us a shout if any of you were watching Dreamhack Winter and have any particular requests for games you'd like cast. By all means, go ahead and drop a request down below or send it to us at aussiestarcraftreplays@gmail.com. So it looks like we do have some shenanigans underway from Taeja, and straight away this time it's him being on the front foot in this game, trying to bunker rush Liquid Hero's expansion. We can see Hero's pulled off quite a lot of workers here. Doesn't want to see this bunker established on his front doorstep. This SCV actually 1 hit from being killed, but Taeja, microing his Marines like a boss, is actually going to pick off this probe of Hero, and these 2 Marines are going to make life very uncomfortable for Liquid Hero. First Zealot is out now, but the Marine's going to struggle to micro effectively against him, particularly without Stimpack. Looks like Hero is actually momentarily supply blocked here. Unfortunately for Hero, probably very focused on trying to prevent this early aggression from taking root. The Zealot continuing to stream across the field. We will have 4 Marines here momentarily, and if Bob the Zealot doesn't head on home, he may well be in for some strife. So you can see his shield's already worked through and his armor taking a little bit of damage there. But Taeja's production well underway now. 2 Marines and a Widow Mine at a time. Obviously plans to be very aggressive right off the bat, much like he was last game. And Hero actually going for a bit more macro opening, quite a quick second Nexus and very quick chrono boost to try and get his worker count up. If we look at the worker count, he's actually 6 probes ahead of Taeja's SCV count. So certainly very economically mined at the start of this game, though we have a lot of Marines moving out here. It looks like Hero is going to have to try and defend this base. It looks like the emphasis will in fact be on him to try and hold off this early aggression. Hero microing this Stalker like a boss, just trying to do damage. Managed to damage 3 of those Marines. It may not seem like a big deal, but the difference between 7 or 8 Marines on full health and 3 Marines on half health is quite substantial. It means those 3 will die quite quickly, and almost half the amount of damage output on this force. So one of those Marines going to go down very quickly. Widow Mine is burrowed here, so the Stalkers aren't careful, they will wander in there and die quite quickly. Widowmine will one-shot a Stalker and just totally ruin his day. But, a pair of Stalkers here on, well, now a triplet of Stalkers here on patrol, going to be able to hold off against most of this Marine aggression, providing they don't run into this Widowmine and die a horrible Seeker missile death. These Stalkers in position for the drop. Now, this is one of those times where you can see how often these players must play against each other. Taeja going for a similar approach, trying to drop this Widowmine on the ramp. Can it get burrowed in time? Well, it does get burrowed, but unfortunately isn't going to be able to may detonate on the Zealot, is going to get the kill on the Zealot there, but this Observer continuing to mitigate that harassment that Taeja's trying to do. Double Forge actually going down for Hero now, so Hero very content to play the macro game here, just trying to hold on as best he can. 3 Stalkers are going to be able to force this medevac full of Marines back, and Hero should hold quite comfortably. So you can tell how often these players must play against each other, because you can see consistently in both these games, Hero's been positioned ready to deny that harassment at the top of the ramp. Something that Taeja just loves to do to Protoss is drop the main base and drop a Widowmine or 2 at the ramp, just in case. If you're wondering what that's for, it will one-shot a Stalker, but the other hopeful thing is if you are harassing the mineral line and players big Marine push here, can he snipe the Mothership core? No, he's just going to pull straight back. If a player grabs their workers and right clicks to move them, they do clump up quite badly. If they do go past that Widowmine, it will pretty much be GG, because the single Widowmine can pick off most of the stack of workers and just give a tremendous advantage to Taeja. So it's one of the reasons he favours that sneaky drop at the top of the ramp. A few more barracks going down now. We'll take Taeja's production to 5 barracks. Stimpack and Combat Shield also on the way. Quite a lot of gas being mined for Taeja as well. You can see 4 guys is going full ball at the 10-minute mark, and that'll be paying for things like these medevacs that Taeja is continuing to produce. Going to be moving out with this force. So if we check out the unit count, we do have 21 Marines and 3 Marauders against a single Colossi and 3 Stalkers, as well as a couple of Sentries. So the Protoss base, the defense here, it's not quite difficult to hold, but it is a balancing act. Taeja can push the front while dropping the main base. That means you got to split these armies up precisely so that neither of the armies is too weak or too strong and the other ones suffer as a result. These 2 Colossi though are going to be doing a lot of damage here. Taeja being forced to pick up. Stalker's getting a little bit of damage on the medevac, but not quite able to pick it off though. It is down to red health, only 33 hit points remaining on that. Taeja just continuing to produce units here. If we bring the production tab back up, we can see plus on weapons, Stimpack almost finished, concussive shells also on the way now for Taeja, and producing 3 Vikings at a time. So this is quite a solid amount of Vikings, obviously designed to try and counter these Colossi. Where's that 3rd Viking? Okay, so there is a 2nd starport down at the natural, though Hero does have an observer here, can see all these forces as they're mustering. Taeja going to try and pick off this probe, try and make sure no proxy pylons are established, so there is already one out on the top of the left hand corner of the map. 2 Colossi in play now. Taeja is scanning fairly consistently, so you can see this. What he is unaware of is this 3rd Colossi that is sitting in the main base. If Taeja engages too quickly, these 3 Colossi will do significant damage to his forces. Though Taeja does already have 5 Vikings on the field and 3 more in play in just a moment. So Taeja quickly getting a substantial Viking count is going to be able to do quite substantial damage to these Colossi, which will leave just a very weak Zealot defensive line here. See how Hero manages to hold this. He was holding quite well in the previous game. So unfortunately, Taeja did manage to reinforce with sufficient to hold him off. Looks like Hero is going to be chrono boosting that storm out. Got a few High Templar on the field as well. Obviously the transition out of Colossus is a natural choice given how many Vikings we have in the play. Taeja is going to posture here at the ramp, going to muscle his way up, big stim into the main base. We have 3 Colossi here just trying to stay out of the line of fire of these Vikings. Not enough stalkers here to kill the Vikings, so Hero knows he needs to commit and kill as much of this bio before it retreats as possible. Vikings here continuing to get take damage from the Stalkers, down to 4 Vikings, but Taeja quite cleverly not continuing to produce anymore, as he did see those 2 High Templar, which means that Hero shouldn't be producing too many more Colossus. Generally, Protoss players will try and jump back and forth between Colossi and the High Templar, because doing that puts the pressure on the Terran player to produce the right amount of Vikings continually. Another scan going down. If the Terran player produces too many Vikings and the Protoss player ceases Colossi production, the Terran player ends up with quite a lot of dead units. So that's what Taeja is trying to avoid here, going back to producing a few medevacs instead of Vikings. Have an observer being picked off there by Taeja, just trying to keep Hero in the dark as to what he's doing. Taeja momentarily is going to be able to grab his 3rd base. CC on the way now, and that's going to be well ahead of Hero, as Hero... Well, actually, Hero managing to push out now. He's going to give himself the opportunity to throw down that Nexus once he can clean up the factory. It looks like Hero is going to force Taeja back, though Taeja regrouping, forming a large concave here. There's serious armies grouping up in the middle of the map. Is 160 supply each. And you can see a massive marauder composition for Taeja, and it's set up there in a beautiful concave. If Hero had tried to force his way through that, it would have ended very poorly. Taeja continuing a scan, trying to find out where this Protoss army is. Hero really just trying to buy some time for these High Templar to get enough storm energy. We do have a number of High Templar already on the field, energy for probably 5 or 6 storms here. So as Taeja tries to engage, a nice storm on the Vikings there, they will take a lot of damage from that. That will mean the Colossi are substantially safer than they would have been. Taeja in a position to threaten this base. He's sending a hit squad of a couple of Marauders up. Nice storms on the main army of Taeja. He's going to do substantial damage. Picking off those Vikings with these Stalkers, continuing to keep his Colossi alive. There's nice engagement from Hero. Pressures on Taeja to try and make use here, but his medevacs are running lower on energy, and a storm on this fat clump of bio is going to do a lot of damage. Storm there. Taeja able to dodge it quite nicely, pick off the High Templar there. So it is quite a zealot heavy composition. Hero has to be very careful not to lose his damage dealing units like the Colossi and the High Templar, but Hero there able to keep his 3rd base alive, which is the all important 3rd base. If that base goes down and Taeja is able to secure his own, it would be substantially bad news for Hero, but Hero managing to position his army in such a way that Taeja never had the time to be able to secure and destroy. Nice drop from Taeja, though. He's going to put the pressure on this 3rd base. Hero not going for the bait nose. The other army from Taeja is positioned here in the middle of the map. He can see it with his observer. Would love to keep this 3rd base alive, though, bringing up some of his zealots here to try and clean up the drop, but with the medevacs is going to be quite difficult to kill these units. Taeja will pick up and jet out of there. So if we check out the check out the upgrades tab, both our players are on on 2 armor, 1 weapons though for Hero, 2 already in play for Taeja, as well as all regular bio upgrades. If we grab the production tab, we can see 3 already on the way for Taeja, plus 2 weapons on the way now for Hero, but there will be a point in this game where it will be Taeja's 3 bio against what will be 2 or 2 Protoss Death Ball. So Taeja, nice drop from Taeja in between the natural and main base. It's going to do a lot of damage. This medevac, nice storm there to pluck off that medevac full of units, clean up that. Taeja being very active with his drops, as is fairly standard for Taeja. Great multitasker, is able to threaten quite heavily with this main force. Substantial Terran army in the middle of the map makes it very difficult for Protoss to try and defend their bases against this aggression. Here I'll likely throw down a little bit of static defense here at this 3rd base. Hero forcing his way forward, these 3 Colossi able to do substantial damage. The Vikings already being cleaned up. So, not being cleaned up, in fact trying to protect his 3rd base. Surprised that we haven't seen a Warp Prism out of Hero. Quite frequently Hero will make use of a warp prism to harass the backside of his opponent while he is gesturing very aggressively with his main army. This first Marine going to meet a horrible end on the side blades of the Zealots. A few of these Zealots are veterans that have been through a few wars. You can see a few of them red health down to 10 or 13 health, but managing to survive to fight another day for hire. Taeja throwing down some more production, this time in between his two locations, so make it a bit harder for the Zealots of Hero to engage. He can hide his army behind these barracks. Any stray shots or poor control from Hero will result in damage being wasted on the barracks. A lot of ghosts moving out now for Taeja. He's got the personal cloaking halfway done now, and his 3-3 almost completed, whereas the Armor 3 and Ground Weapons 3 from Taeja still quite a ways away. These 3 ghosts actually getting EMP'd. That is going to force Hero, I think, back to his base, and we do indeed see him falling back. Hero really can't afford to engage without a substantial number of High Templar. There are still 3 or 4 in this army. You can see Hero trying to keep his stalkers out to pick off any ghosts that try to roam. See Taeja throwing down scans. Let's try and pick up these observers, because what Taeja wants to do, if you're not as familiar with the TVP matchup, Taeja wants to cloak and run his ghosts in and drop an EMP. EMP will kill the energy of the High Templar, and it will remove all the shields, virtually halving the health of the Protoss army. So if Taeja can pick off any of these observers, it will allow him to cloak and run in a few ghosts and do a substantial amount of shield damage to Hero's forces. Hero decided to take a few shots at those Marauders, but unfortunately for Hero, the Viking count of Taeja quite high, up to about 13 Vikings. We may drop the production tab momentarily, go to the unit counting station. There's 16 Vikings to 4 Colossus, so 16 Vikings obviously going to be able to one-shot Colossi, meaning the Colossi only have 2 or 3 shots each before they'll be taken out in this conflict. Big concave of Vikings so that the Storm can't take out all of those. A Hero dropping a few Storms. These Ghosts definitely taking a fair bit of damage from those Storms. If Taeja can exploit the fact that there's no detection here, he will be in a great position. These Ghosts dropping a lot of EMP, allowing Taeja to force out the main. Fantastic Storms there from these High Templar. 15 kills on one, 10 on the other, and Taeja forced to tap out of that game. So that was a fantastic last couple of seconds of the game. We are actually going to go back and re-watch the dying seconds of that game, just because I want you to see how much of a dime this game can turn on. So we are a minute from the end of the game. We will watch it from this point. You see Taeja's army completely full health here, and you can see Hero deciding where he needs to defend. He needs to hold his third base. It is all of his income. Main base and natural almost completely mined out there. Colossi doing a little bit of damage. Few Storms here. Taeja taking a lot of damage from the Storm because of the positioning of this edge. Taeja had to fight his way up and around the edge. Nice Storms from these High Templar, substantially reducing the health of Taeja. Now you can see Taeja has a lot of Vikings that aren't doing a whole lot, and not enough medevacs to heal his force. Another Storm from Hero, second great Storm. This force almost dead already. We have 25 kills between those two High Templars, and Hero is able to push forward and kill those last few Ghosts. So fantastic game from Hero. Is going to even up this series at 1 apiece, so we will go to a deciding game 3 between these two champions of Team Liquid to see who will progress in this tournament. So let us know down below who you're cheering for. Are you Liquid Hero fans or Liquid Taeja fans? I know we have some of both on the channel. Every time I ask for requests, we get spammed with Liquid Hero and Liquid Taeja requests. So I know you guys are enjoying this series just as much as I am. We'll pop it up on the channel with Game 3 soon to follow. Thanks guys for tuning in, and thanks in advance for those of you that go ahead and share these videos on YouTube, Facebook and Twitter, all of those social media goodness. We really appreciate that. Definitely supports us here at Aussie Starcraft, so really just want to thank you guys for that, and we will catch you in the next cast. Thanks guys.